Alright, I'm out here working on this homemade four-wheel drive tractor. Real quick, I wanted to talk about the ratcheting hubs that this has. So these transmissions on these two-wheel walk-behind tractors, they just have a solid axle shaft that runs to each tire. There's no differential. So if the hubs were mounted solid to the axle, you'd never be able to steer it. So they have these ratcheting hubs. They only engage going forward, and then they freewheel the other way. So it needs that to be able to steer. Which I learned something yesterday. I drove it a little bit, and as soon as you start to go downhill a little bit, it takes off on you. It was actually kind of scary, because the the drivetrain no longer is holding you at that speed. It just kind of releases because the hubs all freewheel. So I guess that's why the brake is so important. So then I was thinking about, how does reverse work? I don't have the reverse hooked up right now. This is his reverse lever. So this is the hand clutch. It's basically neutral. Just puts tension on the belt. So you would release this, and then there's another belt that goes from here around the crank and down to here, and it has a twist in it. It works just like my got a front tine rototiller, and that's how reverse works. And it doesn't lock into place either, like this doesn't. You just pull back on, you put tension on that belt, and as soon as you let the tension off, it stops moving. So that makes sense. But with these hubs, it's just going to spin the axle shafts backwards, and they're just going to click and not engage. So when I first looked at this thing, I saw those. Oh man, it's not going to be very good light, is it? There we go. I saw them little couplers right there. There's one on each side, and I thought it was like 2- and 4-wheel drive. I thought it completely disconnected the front wheels from the axle shafts, but it doesn't. It's a homemade system that it's only for reverse. This piece here is keyed to the axle shaft, but it still slides in and out. So the other side is welded to the back of the David Bradley ratcheting hub. He's got it hooked up like on a clutch fork almost. It pivots. This piece was broken. You know, they still need a bit of adjustment. This side is completely taken off because there's a broken piece. I'll show you in a minute. But he just has it on this lever here. And as soon as you need to go backwards, you just release the lever and then pull back on that one, and it'll drive the front wheels. So it's only 2-wheel drive in reverse. Oh, we got the rain coming again. Okay, so these are the pieces from the other side. This is the broken piece, hub, I guess you'd say. But he used, I don't know, it's like an actual clutch fork or something. And and he just welded that piece of rod on it for strength. So this piece is the inside hub that keys onto that axle shaft next to that spring. I think, so this is cast, and I don't know if that's something he made. The plate on the back side of it he made, and he welded it to it. It's not cast. So it's kind of split apart on this one ear. I'm not too worried about it. I think I could, if I can't repair that, heat it up and smash it back flat for the most part. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. I might be able to remake that, but I'm kind of thinking that this system was out of adjustment and one of them teeth grabbed the other one while it was going forward. I guess it's hard to say. You know, who knows? You can't really ask anybody now. I mean, so this one even, you know, we've been adjusting it so it, when it's in the, let me see here, it looked like on that other side, these teeth, when they'd pass by each other, they were getting too close and one might have grabbed when it wasn't supposed to. Or he might have got it stuck or pinned up against a tree. I don't know. It's hard to say. That's kind of what I was thinking was a possibility. Because like I say, when you start to go downhill, it takes you off guard. It just starts freewheeling. And if you remember, this front corner here was smashed in. Maybe a hill caught him off guard or something, and he wasn't able to get to the brakes and pinned it up against a tree. So now you can't go forward, and all you got is reverse. And maybe, you know, maybe it was just a lot of torque on it. It was bouncing or something, and it was just too much for it. Maybe it slightly separated the engagement and was just hooked on maybe just the edge of this one tooth, and anyways, it split it. But as long as I don't use reverse, it's not a problem right now. So a few other things I did. I did some more work to the carb since the last video. Runs pretty good now. It doesn't leak. The only thing is, so this throttle shaft uses these, I don't know, it's like a rubber bushing, top and bottom. Well, the bottom was cracked and loose. I mean, they had shrank and hardened up. I mean, they were like plastic. So there was a lot of play in that throttle shaft down there. So I found a couple of O-rings that were similar in size and just stacked them and put them in place. And it works really good, but the throttle arm's not quite as free as I want it to be. It's got a little bit of resistance. And from running it and messing with it, it runs fantastic, but I don't think the governor is strong enough to pull it quite all the way down to idle. I can hold it to idle and it runs awesome and it idles down, but I you know, I haven't messed with the springs or anything. There's a spring down there and there's different places to put it, so I might be able to get that to straighten up. But really, it runs good enough where it's not that big of a deal. So another thing I'm changing, this was the gas tank bracket that was on it. It's, you know, little cobbled, little rough shape. I didn't really care for it. Plus it needed repaired anyways. It's been welded a couple times already. And this is the tank. And it set the tank up here underneath the steering wheel. So I hadn't gotten to cleaning the tank out yet. It is in good shape. There's no rust, but it's just full of nasty fuel. Well, my stepdad got looking and he found this tank that was already clean. And it fits down right there. And then we were thinking, we got this Craftsman out back. It had a fuel pump on it. So I thought maybe I could set the tank down lower and see if I could get that fuel pump to work. I just went into the side of the block there for the pulse pump. And you just had this like breather, and there was the this ball was in there, kind of like a check valve with this cap. So yeah, I just found a fitting and put it in place of that. And while I'm thinking about it, this is what he had on it when I bought it. If you guys want to pause the video and read that. So yeah, that seems to be working okay. I just made a little bracket. I haven't mounted the tank yet, but it rides pretty good right there to test drive it. And actually, I'm kind of thinking now I want to set the tank somewhere back here, out of the way. It's really not in the way there, but I think it'd be easier pouring fuel, you know, without the steering wheel or anything above you. So yeah, maybe if this rain holds off, I can start it up and take it for a little drive.